Hi, welcome to the 1 Liter Podcast. You will watch us drinking 1 liters of beer whilst talking about shies. Please like and subscribe. Welcome to the 1 Liter.
Prost. Welcome to the new studio setup.
Oh, check it out.
Comfort.
Check out these fucking lights behind us.
Ooh,
Illumination.
Illuminati. That's what we talk about here, is Illuminati all the time.
Mm.
I don't think we've brought that up once.
All we talk about is just lights. We call it Illuminati.
People are like,
Imagine having
I
a
came
light
here
com-
for conspiracies. What
Yeah.
the fuck is this shit?
Yeah. Can you imagine you owned a light company called Illuminati?
Dude,
That's pretty
make
funny.
It probably exists. Someone's got it for sure.
Probably. Imagine if we put false titles in all the Spotify ads, like we hashtag like conspiracy, this and that, Donald Trump, and then they get it and it's just us being ourselves, you know? No
We're
no
just-
communication about any of that shit.
no, we're just like, what's up?
Mm.
This is the 1 Liter Podcast, where we drink a liter of booze. We're back on the sangrias.
On the sangrias with a bit of fizz water.
I'm so amazed. Like, it's so fresh. So fresh.
But still having that vineyard flavor, you know?
The
Mm.
vino with the fresh fruities.
So you have
Beautiful.
a fun fact for us today, man.
I do.
Phil's fun fact.
You like that?
I fucking love that. That's so good.
So, Phil's fun fact today. Did you know the world's oceans contain enough salt to cover Let me start again. The world's oceans contain enough salt to cover all land on Earth with a layer of 150 meters thick.
If we have that much fucking salt, why aren't there more continents then? Why
It's
isn't the
diluted?
ocean-
It's all diluted in the ocean, but that just shows how
The ocean
vastly
is?
huge the ocean is.
And the depth of the ocean
Yeah.
too.
So you think about, like, if you have like a liter of ocean water and you boiled it down to the salt, surely it's not that much, right?
Mm.
So there's like this much ocean water, and then just the salt in it, you can cover every bit of land on Earth that we have currently.
Plus
150 meters
Yeah.
is tall.
Yeah, dude.
That's fucking tall.
That's crazy. Oceans are funny. I've seen video I feel like every layer, every meter down or so in the ocean, there's like a different breed of fish that exist in that.
It's that video that's circling at the moment, the true depth of the ocean, where it like goes down on an angle. Have you seen that? And it's representations.
No.
Oh,
I
it
was
like
gonna
puts
s-
like landmarks and how
Oh,
deep
shit.
shit is. Yeah.
And then does it show the different breeds of aquatic creatures?
I think only like the main big ones. Like,
right.
With this is the level that a blue whale swims at, I think.
True.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
They go deep. Whales go deep. Eh?
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
And you see the videos are like, obviously it could be anything, but people marine biologists theorize like whales get into fights with like creatures down there, like octopus and shit, because whales have big scars on their face,
Yes.
and they're like, that looks like a tentacle attack.
The sperm whale has like
Yeah.
they reckon it gets into fights with that giant, what's that
Squid.
called? The squid?
Yeah, fuck. Squids are, dude, sharks are one thing, man, but a squid's another thing. Like the tentacles just silently
it's
wrapping
so
around
weird,
you.
eh? It's
Yeah.
so weird.
Mm.
I did see a video though on that salt topic. Have you seen what the water looks like in comparison to the size of Earth? Like all the water on Earth?
No.
Oh, it's crazy. So it shows like the Earth as a globe, and then it sucks all the oceans dry into another ball, and it looks like a fucking little marble next to the Earth. Like that's all the ocean waters. Like every single depth of the ocean where we think it's crazy deep, it can all be bunched up into a ball that's like less than 1/10 of the size of Earth.
Oh man, I wouldn't have believed that. No way I would have believed that. That's crazy.
I thought that was crazy, and I probably wouldn't have believed it until I learned about Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about how smooth the Earth would be if we reduced it down to
Yeah.
a billiard ball, and it would be like the most smoothly polished surface, even with the deepest part of the ocean.
With the
and then-
highest mountains and canyons.
so it's really just like this tiny thin layer of liquid on top
Mm.
of this ball, and like the moon's gravitational pull moves the liquid slightly, and it creates tides, and that's how we
right.
perceive the ocean.
Can you
We're so
imagine?
volatile.
I know.
Like any external force could just be like,
And then we're
and then
gone. Yeah.
all the oceans just over the land.
It's fucked, dude. I remember seeing videos of like dead whales on the bottom of the ocean. Not the bottom of the ocean, but some points. And then you just see all the crustaceans come out and slowly pick it apart after the sharks and stuff have hit it.
Mm.
There's just something for everything down there.
Mhm.
Can you imagine all the oceans are gone on the planet? How long do you think a general elevator ride? You know how you take an elevator from level 1 to ground floor to level 13? It feels like maybe 10 seconds, right? Right? Imagine if you took an elevator from, let's
The
say,
Marianas Trench.
down the Marianas
Yeah.
Trench. How long do you think it would take? If we could Google the rate of a regular
Yeah,
elevator,
regular. We're specifically you're mentioning regular,
Yeah.
right? Because you're not talking about like the Burj Khalifa elevator. That's
Nah.
like,
or is that like super quick?
yeah,
Like bullet elevator, there you go.
yeah.
But here's the thing, what's cool as well is that you'd be going so deep in this elevator, crystal elevator, so you can see through it.
Crystal.
And there's, the pressure of the ocean, the depths,
Mm.
that you don't get the bends or anything, so you're just going down and down till you reach fucking what, lava?
Well, no, because I mean Marianas Trench is nowhere near. Well, it probably could be near lava, but
Could.
again,
Yeah.
in comparison to the mantle of the Earth, the Marianas Trench is probably fucking
A little bitch ass, yeah.
little bitch ass, and we can just like it just kills us immediately
Yeah.
if we're that deep.
Here's the thing as well. Do you know how you see movies where someone like Godzilla, for instance, or like a giant is walking through the ocean and the water's still about nipple high, right?
Mm.
Or waist deep. If you were as tall as the Burj Khalifa, if you were a giant on Earth, and you just started, I'm going to walk to Turkey from here or something, right? Or not even that. I'm going to walk from here to Australia, and you just like just waded into the ocean. Do you think you'd be able to touch the bottom?
Well, no, in points where it's deeper, it's definitely deeper. Like it's
Oh.
kilometers deep. The
Yeah.
Burj Khalifa is only 850 meters tall, I think.
How long do you think it would take for you to like doggy paddle from the Burj Khalifa right there in the ocean to Australia?
It'd be interesting
To
to see
Perth.
what the size of the Burj Khalifa is when you then just zoom out to ocean of the Pacific Ocean
Do you
because it's
think-
like nothing.
Yeah. Do you think? I don't think any predators would attack you because what are they going to do? It'd be like a.
Oh, if you're that big, yeah, you're the biggest guy in the
You're gonna
ocean, right?
scare everything, right?
So
Yeah.
it might be like little piranhas, which is great white sharks, just
Yeah.
like
What's in my ass? Yeah. But did you like fucking elbow a couple of submarines on the way and shit?
Yeah.
Mm.
You wouldn't be like susceptible to that kind of pressure either. Like imagine how far down you're hanging, like a kilometer down while you're
Yeah.
swimming.
Bro, I'd go down with some giant goggles on and just see what I can see. It's so
Oh.
fucking scary, bro. The ocean freaks me out.
Dude,
I'm
how
freaked
about free divers
Oh yeah.
that just go like right down and then just holding their breath?
Yeah, I'll top that. How's about being in a submarine, bro?
Ugh.
Ugh.
Free diving scares me though, is because it's like this specific skill. I recently learned how/why free divers die, how they have their deaths.
How they lose their ship.
So
Is it panic attack or what?
no, so apparently when you're learning to free dive, it's holding your breath for ages, right? Minutes at a time. And what you're actually doing is your body it doesn't sense the oxygen in your body, it senses the buildup of carbon dioxide. So as you have sensors that are like, oh, this is too much carbon dioxide, and then you have that panic moment where you go, and you have that gasp moment when you're holding your breath for way too long. You just go, and that's like a reflex of your body going, nah, way too much carbon dioxide. So I thought free divers died from that. Like they're just like, they get too far and they're like, oh God, and then actually drown. But they don't. If they've trained themselves so well to be immune to like this carbon dioxide alert, that they would just be holding their breath, and then just die.
Wow, the
Because
body
they
just
just
gives
shut down because they're just like, nope, too much, not enough oxygen, too much carbon dioxide.
the body turns on you.
Your brain just shuts down instead of having a gasp reflex. You've trained yourself out of a reflex of survival.
Mm. That's
That's
Ter-
scary.
it's terrifying,
That's
man.
way
Yeah.
scarier because then
Yeah.
you wouldn't even like feel it coming because you're like, oh, I can feel that panic feeling, but I've trained myself through this.
Yeah. Like people
Lights out.
hiking Everest, dude. They're just like, oh, I'm real tired. I just need a nap for a
Yeah.
second, and they don't
The
wake up.
hypothermia, they
Yeah.
want to go to sleep and they tell people to leave them alone. They're like, nah, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah. And
Leave me alone.
how would you, if you're, let's say you've got maybe 30 meters left of Everest, and someone's with you is like, oh, I need to rest. I got to sleep. You'd literally have to drag them up, right? You'd have to be like, you're coming with me. No, you're not.
I think if you've got someone with you that's at the point where they're going to sleep, you can't save them.
There's nothing you can do.
No, because you're not going to get back down. You got to climb back down, which takes time. Like they're already that far gone that their body's gone. No, we're done. We're sleeping. We sleep now.
So even if you were like,
Forever.
even if you had your arm over them and you were walking with them, eventually they'd just drop.
Maybe if you had like, I don't know how you would do it. Like, can you
Is it-
heat them up?
Is
or
it the cold or is it
feed?
is it a mixture of the cold and the altitude?
Probably, yeah.
Because
So
your
it's-
lungs are like,
Yeah, low oxygen, so you're gassed as. Yeah, that's scary, man. Once you're at that point, you're just going to sleep forever.
fuck. There's some things that I'm happy to do, like skydive or do this or that, but Everest just isn't in on my radar of like I need to conquer that. Like I'm just not interested.
No,
Are you?
no way. Anything
So
that's
dumb.
like mountain climbing.
Mm.
Sure, I'll watch the docos. They're all very interesting and crazy and intriguing, but I have no interest in doing it.
Yeah, I'm happy to just keep it doco, you know?
I have no interest in free diving. Hell no.
Yeah, fuck that. What about do you remember the dude who jumped out of low orbit? The Red Bull guy?
Oh,
He just
yeah,
jumped
yeah.
out and he like passed out halfway and then he like deployed parachute or whatever.
Yep.
If they made it 100% foolproof and safe and they made this big net and like people could pay to go up there and do it, would you do that? Just-
What's the big net for?
I don't know,
You have a
like
parachute though, right?
yeah, but it's like you pass through like this like almost like translucent net that slows you just a little bit so you're not like plummeting too dangerously to the point where the parachute can't deploy. Like maybe something along those lines, like a little nano field or whatever. Would you do that? Anyways, would you just do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
You would just be like, fuck it, let's do it. Ah!
Well, if it's as described, as advertised, where you're saying it's all
I'm the
safe,
dotted, yeah,
it's
I'm
all
the
fucking
dotted
safe.
line.
Yeah.
What's this?
then sure,
What's this thing about ownership of the soul?
Nothing.
nothing. Get on the plane, bro.
Get on the plane. Or
Get
this-
on the plane,
Or
man.
would it be a spaceship?
Oh yeah, be like one of those Virgin space flights kind of thing.
Whatever happened to fucking Richard Branson and his whole space flight thing?
Yeah, that's going. It's just not like
So he
front news anymore.
He gets rich people up there and they float around and then that's it.
Well, I think he's trying to commercialize it. So he's trying to get it to a point where he can have public people pay to have a space flight, which would be
Right.
sick, but
It wouldn't be
costs
like
you a lot.
Wouldn't be like Disneyland, where it's like, oh, you want to go?
Yeah,
to
but it
Disneyland?
wouldn't be for people that want Disneyland.
But
It'd
that's
be
the
for
thing.
space nerds that want to pay to go into space. Imagine
Everyone's a space nerd.
No, they're not. There's people out there that are not interested in going into zero gravity.
Everyone likes swimming in pools, though, right? Which is
Yeah.
basically zero gravity. Same thing.
But if you told them, hey, do you want to go to space? I'll pay for you. They'd be like, no, that's scary. I'd fucking go to zero gravity, man. That would be the wildest thing ever.
Yeah, I think we should do a poll. We should do a poll. Put this.
Yes.
Put this on
Spotify
Facebook.
poll.
Put this on put this on Facebook as well. If you were given the opportunity to go into space, do Richard Branson's thing, and you can zero gravity float around, click yes or click no if it's too scary and you wouldn't want to do it.
Yes or no poll. If it was paid for.
If it was paid for,
free. Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, it's 100% yes.
Really?
I reckon you get 2 no's and they're just like, oh, I get very claustrophobic, or
the
something.
two
lame
no's
like
would be
that.
like, that's impossible. The earth is flat.
Yeah. Dude, if you believe in flat earths, I want you to swallow all the cleaning products under your sink and then
That will prove the earth is round.
it'll prove the earth is round. Look it up. Or don't, just do it.
Don't look it up. Just Alt F4.
Oh. Did I tell you about that woman who maybe I told you last time, the woman who ran up to the Uber and she had to get out of there? Did I tell you about that woman?
No? Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I told you
that
in the
was
last
cool.
podcast.
I don't know if you told me on the podcast. Tell it again.
Oh no, we don't have to. No,
Tell it again.
I don't want to. I just thought if I hadn't told you that before, I'll tell you. But here's a fun topic. maybe not so much women, and this might piss some people off, but obviously
Women are a fun topic.
women get a lot of gratification all the time, right? Even like from jealous women or from friends or family, or mainly from men. Men will always comment on a woman, especially in social media this day and age. Men don't necessarily always get comments.
True.
And it's kind of feels strange when you get it. But it's
when you
such
get
a
complimented.
when you
on
get
things do.
complimented for anything, and it's such a wonderful feeling. And I think I like to go out of my way to give more everyone, but men in general, a compliment, right? Like if I'm working with someone, I'll be like, "Hey, bro, that you know that thing you did earlier on the phone to that client was really cool. Like the way you said that was sick." And you can see their face light up.
Mm.
But like when someone tells you, "Oh, hey, like you did really good today." Like I hear the people at work that they're talking about you a lot. Like you're doing really good. It's like, what?
It's great. It's a great feeling.
Yeah.
And it's a funny thing because the receiving it is a skill in itself. Because a lot of people don't know how to receive a compliment. I'm probably pretty bad at it too. Like if people compliment me, I'm like,
You give them like a dossier on how
yeah,
it was just a common occurrence.
I just
I felt good that morning. I had enough.
Yeah.
I had 8 hours of sleep. I was listening.
You're justifying it. You're like justifying your good deed. They're saying, no, you did well. And you're just like, oh, the reason I did well, normally I'm a cunt. But the reason I did well is I was well rested and I was having a good day.
Just dance
But
around.
it's weird receiving compliments, like genuine compliments.
Did you ever see Eddie Murphy's Raw?
Absolutely.
Do you remember Eddie Murphy Raw? How he's like, once you make a woman go, ooh, you have her. You own her.
The special noise. And then he does like the whole build up to it. And, and then you hear it and you're like, yes, I got this locked down.
Yeah.
And then you can do whatever the fuck you want. Oh, that's a great comedy show, that one.
Yeah, I think I saw a thing of Dave Chappelle talking to Joe Rogan. He's like, why doesn't Eddie do it anymore? And Dave Chappelle's answer was like decent, but it didn't satisfy me, Like Eddie Murphy. No, that's right. He said Eddie Murphy, it's different times, right? The jokes Eddie Murphy said back then and how he felt at the time was like this thing, but if he tried to make this similar kind of jokes today, it might not hit very
won't
well.
be received, yeah.
Yeah.
And he said,
And
apparently
he's older
says
guy.
that.
People look at older people and go, like if you look at Bill Burr.
Yeah, but we'd still go and watch an Eddie
We would.
Murphy.
Oh, we
He'd be
would,
like,
dude.
classic.
It'd sell out instantly. And Eddie Murphy knows that, but he's like a true artist. He's like,
He doesn't want to do it if he has to keep it PC.
yeah.
Because fuck the PC world,
Yeah, fuck PC, man.
You can't even question people's questions, It's fucked up. You get cancelled.
Yeah.
But apparently he says that about his own previous recorded work. Like how it's like, oh, he's like, oh God, you wouldn't be able to play that these days. Like that's bad.
Do you know what's trippy? The fact that everything is going very digital, very PC these days. Not politically correct. I mean, like everything is on the computer these days. Everything's digital. Everything's automated. Blah 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 blah. Right. But the funny thing is, like the most non-PC you find are people on the internet, gamers and stuff. They're so not PC, and I love that. I don't love it like I advocate racism or homophobia or misogyny or anything like that. But like when you look at gamers, I really don't. But when you look at gamers, it's like a woman can play a game and just cop shit, but she still loves playing the game, right?
Yeah.
Or like a African dude, African American or wherever he's from, can play, and then like people will drop the N-word, but he's just like, it's just the internet, it's whatever.
On the chin, yeah.
Feel no pain, whatever, because you can get immediate gratification by killing the person who called you that. So it's like, it's a give and take realm.
Yeah.
Like a platform,
We can't do that in real life, You can't just go up and kill them. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Sure, call me whatever you want.
Mm,
Call me a white privileged male.
yeah.
I'll come and kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll fucking purge you. Dude, do you think, how many people do you think out there really have had crazy thoughts and impulses to kill someone, but because of GTA, it suppresses their urge because they get to kill people digitally online?
Oh, you reckon it does the opposite
Yeah. Oh, well.
to what people say that happens because we're desensitized and da-da-da. It's like, oh, it would be so easy. I did it on GTA.
It could inhibit more people, yeah, but I'm thinking What about the people who still aren't teetering over that edge, who still have a bit more self-control and were raised properly by their parents and all the chemicals in their brain aren't overly fucked,
Mhm.
and then just said, you know what, I killed a hooker, and like
Anger released.
anger
Yeah.
released, yeah, I'm gonna go jerk off and fall asleep, and then I'm fine. Or
Well,
you know,
the latter is probably an even better strategy, you know?
yeah.
Jerk off and go to sleep.
Yeah,
Release the tension.
Release, yeah. Dude, it was funny you and I had that conversation and a couple of podcasts ago, and anyone listening, you should definitely find the podcast. We ain't gonna tell you. You're just gonna have to listen to every podcast and find
Listen
out.
to them all.
We discussed like our ideas are behind people who are like psychopaths.
Yes.
And it went down the line of DNA. I was like, at some point that person was like a Viking who killed people and then
And he was very useful.
very useful. So they only got him for like berserk mode specialist shit. And then he had offspring and they did the same and the same. And then eventually we became very domesticated humans. Violence isn't an issue anymore. We don't need to do it. We don't need to be psychos and mutilate people and hang their corpses up. But that genome, you know, that DNA is carrying on and those impulses from that
It's there.
bloodline.
They're among us.
It's crazy, hey?
Among us. Like
Yeah.
the game Among Us.
Mm.
They just go and kill someone and then boom. Who was it? I think it was Jimmy.
Yeah.
I saw Jimmy in that room where the dead guy was.
Yeah, Jimmy pulls the wings off dragonflies and kicks toads.
When we were talking about psychopaths, did I tell you the story about the doctor that was researching the psychopaths?
And he was the psychopath.
He was the
I
psychopath.
saw that on YouTube. Yeah, dude.
Oh man.
That's crazy.
How crazy is that?
And his family said like when someone would come over, he'd be like, "Why is this person in my house eating my food?" and things
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And it's just like,
like they once they found out that he had the psychopath gene, they were like, "Oh yeah, it kind of makes sense." Like he never smiles a lot. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're like, "What the fuck?"
But he
like
was-
your family knew, man. They were like, "Yeah, he's a bit, doesn't smile.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
when
think he might stab someone."
yeah, but that's the thing. When you think about a psychopath, you think about a crazy killer, right?
Mm.
But then in this regard, how many people are psychopaths but haven't necessarily wanted to kill people as avidly
Oh, and
as
they wouldn't. It's just the point is of the psychopath definition is they could and not feel bad about it.
Mm.
They could do it. Like they obviously won't because they know it's wrong. They don't have the urge to. But if all hell broke loose, if the entire Western civilization broke down and we were all reduced to tribes again,
They'd be headhunters.
they'd be it.
Yeah,
You'd be like, "Hey,
Chief.
I'm the alpha," and they're just like, "Zah!" And you've got to stick through the brain.
Yeah.
They're like, "Who's the alpha now, bitch?
Yeah.
Confident little bitch."
yeah. They
And
wouldn't
we're
even.
just dead on the floor. We're like, "Yeah, I'm so big. I'm an alpha. What's up?" The
Yeah.
psychopath will just come up and slaughter you.
Chopper Reed, you know Chopper Reed,
Yeah.
famous Australian criminal.
He'd be a psycho, right?
He would definitely,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And he said, the scariest fucking thing in prison is a psychopath. That's what he said. He's like,
Yeah.
you can be a killer, you can be a murderer, this, but the scariest fucking thing in a prison is a psychopath.
Yeah.
And he said, like, he'd walk around and have like hatchets in his fucking jacket at work, and he'd give it to his little crew of people with him, and he'd be like just psychopathic shit.
Yeah.
Chopped his own fucking ears off.
Exactly. That's what I
Like,
mean. Like
uh,
that kind of guy. If you heard a guy chopped his own ear off for a benefit in jail, you'd be like, "Yeah, nah, I don't ever need to
I'm
speak to him.
good.
I'm good. If he wants my smokes, he can have my smokes."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want that smoke.
No, I didn't want this pack anyway.
Bro, do you
Go
know
for it.
Do you know what Chopper Reed did? Chopper Reed was like a psychopath with a moral compass, somewhat of a moral compass, because he was like, he beat women and he did all this and that and like fucked people up for no reason. But he did punish a lot of criminals. And apparently there was a story about this dude who like kidnapped a little girl and like used a lid of a can opener to like split her open and enter her.
Oh no.
Yeah, so when he got to
Okay.
prison, I think maybe the guards or someone allowed Chopper and his cellmate or his mate to access this dude's cell. They went into the cell and beat the shit out of this dude. He was laying on the ground, munted, and they were jumping off the second story bunk onto his neck. They were just fucking this
Oh,
dude
so he's
up.
dead.
Yeah,
I
for
beat him
sure.
to death, for sure.
I'm pretty sure he died, yeah, but like, just if you can find a need for people like that,
Big time.
somehow,
Big
like
time.
there was the
Like there's some disgusting humor.
Bro.
Like that story there. Absolutely. Every man would want to do that to that guy,
bro,
right?
what Hitler did in World War II. Hitler took a bunch of psychos, sadists, rapists, killers. I think he pulled them out of prison
Mhm.
and he made a division, the Einsatzgruppen. Einsatzgruppen.
Einsatzgruppen.
Gruppen. Yeah. What does that translate to?
Yep, something groups. Einsatz. I don't know.
They went around. I think they were kind of behind the main force. And they just went around to areas of like Poland, and I think it was Poland or like those Slavic countries, and just caused havoc, dude. They would just go into these Jewish, like these guys were like
It's exactly what he
pulled
needed
out of
psychos
prison,
for.
yeah.
Yeah.
And these dudes, and they made a movie called Come See. You can watch this movie on YouTube. It's called Come and See. Crazy acting.
Mm.
Crazy good acting. The main character is this little kid, and at the start of the film, he's like a happy kid. By the end of the film, I'm not sure if it was makeup or what. This kid literally looks like he's just been seen the worst horrors in the world caused by his fellow man. He's got
Because
like
he has.
frown lines, like dude, wrinkles on his eyes, and he looks like a 60-year-old man, and the dude's like 12 years old.
Mm.
Amazing acting, but yeah, Hitler found a use. He pulled criminals out of prisons, gave them uniforms and weapons, and said, "Go and commit fucking
Yeah.
terror murder squads."
Yeah.
So it's crazy, dude. Imagine 40 Warhammer 40K, dude. They have these things called penal legions, right? And they've got like prisoners and soldiers who fucked up and were put in prison, and they put them into these penal legions, which are like and they just get guns, and they're fucking they get sent to like the worst battlefields ever, and they say fight. If you fight and survive a couple of things,
And
you'll
they're
earn your freedom.
psychopaths.
Yeah,
Psychopaths. They're good to go. They'd be like, yeah, we're done. Let's get free.
yeah.
You know what's
Let's get
up?
free. Exactly.
You
What
know
a
what I watched the other day?
What a fascinating idea. Why not just, instead of sending good, hardworking people into conflicts, psycho indoctrinate crazies and then send them into fucking Afghanistan
Yeah.
or whatever.
I mean, we probably just don't have enough crazies. And maybe the crazies we have are like, nah, fuck that. Fuck you. I'm not
Yeah.
doing that for you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I watched the other day?
What's up?
Inglorious Bastards.
Love it.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, but I had no idea it was like fictional. I thought it was based on true events.
Really?
And then when the cinema scene played out,
Hitler
I was
dies.
like, wait, what?
Yeah.
They're just like feeding bullets into Hitler's face. He's like, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, well, this isn't fucking real. So then
Yeah.
I was like, now I'm going to have to do Googling. And I was like, what is this? But apparently there was a similar mission that was planned and it didn't work out, obviously.
True.
The what was it called? The
Everybody in the German army knows
Kino
of
der Toten?
Ja, der Toten, yeah. Everybody in the German army knows of Hugo Stiglitz.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh, what a movie.
Virtual, yeah.
But when they're scalping them, fucking
Yeah.
Tarantino, man. Is that the director?
Tarantino film. Yeah.
Because he makes it so graphic, dude.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you're like, all right, I don't need to see that. I don't need to see that.
Come on, bro.
And then sometimes they're just having like a conversation and it flicks to the other guy and he's just halfway through scalping this German soldier. He's like, yeah. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
God, I
I
didn't
don't
need
want
to
to
see
see
that.
Yeah.
God
Dude,
damn.
the fucking one interesting thing that I saw in that film that I always wanted confirmation on, or a bit more information, was that Brad Pitt's character has a wound around his neck, like he's hung.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love the story behind that. Tarantino, if Tarantino wrote that or Brad Pitt decided to do that. So the whole film, Brad Pitt's character would have been walking around with a chip on his shoulder because at some point he's got like, did someone cut his throat or what?
Well, if he was hung, you know what Christoph Waltz's nickname is the hangman in the movie.
True.
So I think we're supposed to make the link that they've had an encounter previously.
That's fascinating. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His
Christoph
nickname's
Waltz,
the hangman, so I don't know.
he took that film,
Oh, dude, what a
decimate. Dude, that was his first break.
Really?
Yeah, that was the film that broke him into America.
that's huge, dude. Because
Yeah.
when I was watching that,
Ooh, that's a bingo. Yeah.
yeah, and it's so intense. So like you're like, oh, like edge of seat, but it's like a normal conversation, but it's
Mm.
so intense because you know what's going on in the background, and he just does it
Right.
super well.
I love the symbolism Tarantino put into the first scene with Christoph Waltz, and he comes in there. Old mate's like a little peasant farmer.
Yep.
He's in rags. He's got a little wooden pipe. Christoph Waltz in his pure fucking crisp Hugo Boss German uniform
Mhm.
sits there, very polite, very sharp, very witty, glassy on milk.
Already tense
Yeah.
at that point because
Pulls
you're
out-
like, oh, he's so disgustingly sharp. He's doing something really bad. Like,
Yeah. And then he pulls out this ornate fucking just humongous pipe that trumps the French guys.
He's like,
packs
may
it-
I smoke?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I've got his little pipe. And he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Vroom."
And then bilingual and stuff, just brutal, eh?
The Nimbus 2000 he whips out there.
Yeah. The Nimbus. The Nimbus.
It's basically 1940s bong.
Yeah. Au revoir, shashala. Right.
He's
he
like,
could-
oh, you're breathing hot smoke? That's cool. That's cute. Check out all this pipe.
Do you know what's
Shit.
interesting? Like, do you think he could have shot her down? He probably could have.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
like, let's keep up the fun. Why not?
Yeah, definitely. He's being a psychopath right
Yeah.
there.
And when he comes in and he eats the fucking strudel in front of her, and
Oh,
he's like, "Fist the creme,"
oh,
bro.
man, it's so intense.
and he's just like,
she does that well.
"Oh,
Once he leaves and she has that little mini breakdown, I was like, yeah, good.
Mm.
That was well portrayed.
yeah,
She's like,
oh god,
keeping it together that whole time.
yeah, bro." What an interesting fact, like, because Tarantino's a big cinema buff, so he would have known old film was highly flammable.
Yeah.
So he would have put that in there and be like, "This is sick."
Well, maybe that was the real plan. Maybe that's why they were trying to do it in a cinema.
Tarantino's
I mean, I bet there was a lot of plots to
Mm.
kill Hitler. A lot that we probably don't even know of from other countries.
You know the Valkyrie one, right?
What's that one?
You know Valkyrie, the film,
No.
Tom Cruise. So they did a bunch of commanders did try to kill Hitler.
Mm.
In one of his bunkers where he does these military conferences with all these top tier
Oh, the
generals.
bomb one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
puts
I
the
know of
bomb, but he
this.
put it on the other side of the table. Crazy, bro.
Bullshit.
If
Bomb was slightly too small.
Mm.
Nothing.
sucks ass, man. Yeah, but
You know, speaking of bombs, though, and this is probably a pretty dark topic, but you know the Boston bombings.
Mm.
I watched that documentary on it.
you
recently.
did end up watching it as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Finished the rest of it. And just the fact that only, is it four or five people died? Like a lot of people lost limbs, obviously, which is fucking,
Maimed.
yeah, which is hardcore
Mm.
and shit. for
Life,
those people.
life
ruined.
fucking,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Not
But-
life ruining, but certainly.
Completely life changing
Bro,
to a degree that you wouldn't wish upon anyone.
I walked past an old guy being pushed on a wheelchair the other day with one leg, and I thought to myself, imagine being him looking up around him and everyone around him has full mobility.
Mm,
You would just feel so alienated.
mm.
So, yeah, continue.
Yeah, that was amazing to me that only 4 or 5 people actually died, and the backpack that exploded was literally right next to them, like in the crowd. So it must have the blast would have taken only 2 people, and then the rest just got like shrapnel and
Mm.
whatever. So it only
Respect
hit.
to those two people, man. They fucking
They took the blast.
they
yeah,
they jumped on the
pressure
grenade
cookers, dude.
metaphorically.
Pressure cookers. What the fuck? Who thinks of that shit?
Dirty can't say.
Dirty cunts.
Do you know what's
But
scary?
you see that hunt, like that kid
Mm.
ran over his older brother in that Mercedes.
Yeah,
He fucking maimed his older brother.
yeah. Probably put the last nail in the coffin because he was riddled with bullets. That cunt.
Big
He was
time.
walking towards the cops. He was like, "Alamarica."
And he was on the ground and the cops were like pinning him down and he just launched the car at them,
Yeah,
knowing that his brother's probably not going to move. And the cops jumped out of the way and he just
probably thought his brother was dead already, dude.
probably, yeah.
But
That's true. He probably
yeah.
saw him get hit by a few shells and hit by a few
few,
shells. I don't
yeah.
walk with a limp. 50 Cent. 50 Cent got shot 9 times. Still alive.
Did you ever watch Get Rich or Die Trying?
Yeah.
The dude got shot 9 times, and one of them got shot in the face, and that explains why 50 Cent talks with his mouth closed. You know.
He's gonna.
Yeah.
What's it called? Not a.
Mm.
It's similar to a mumble, right? It's
Mm.
like a slurring of the words.
Mm. Do you remember when 50 Cent was like the shit?
Yeah, man.
He was the top tier, and then like he had this thing with Kanye West, and he said, "If Kanye West's record sells more than me, I'll never rap again." And then it did, so he hasn't done any rap since.
Yeah,
He's a
I'd
man
say
of
the
his-
same thing.
But he does all film and shit now. He does like that show Power and all that stuff.
Mm.
But
Getting
yeah,
more cash grabs, I guess.
mm,
Did you hear about his Bitcoin thing?
nah.
Apparently, He made like a stupid deal ages ago where he just said, yeah, whatever. And he was selling these records or something. And someone was like, can I pay you in Bitcoin? He was like, yeah, whatever. And they transferred him like, it was a silly amount of Bitcoin because it was worth cents at the time. He's like, yeah, whatever. And apparently when Bitcoin had its peak, it was worth like 9 million or something. And apparently he like lost all his passwords to even access it. So
No
he just had
way.
9 million just go to shit.
Fuck off.
9 million of unclaimed Bitcoin by 50 Cent.
It's probably vitamin water. That was probably his password. Eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Let me ask you one last question, then we can end it here. It's raining outside. You're in an Uber. It's hot inside the Uber. The Uber driver reeks of sweat. You can't wind the window down, and you don't want to tell the Uber driver that he fucking reeks. What do? You just bite the bullet and tell him?
Why can't I tell? Why
You can
can't I
tell
wind the
him.
window down?
Because it's raining outside, like bucketing down.
Oh, of course. Oh yeah,
What do you do?
I'm gonna have to ask him politely. Is this a situation that you've been in? Are you trying to gauge?
This is a situation that this female is in who told me about this. I'm going to use for a skit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what would you do? Would you
Jesus.
just be like, mate, I'm so sorry, but you fucking reek, mate.
But what for? Like, how's that going to benefit you? 'Cause-
Exactly. I just want to know what you would do.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You've got 15 minutes left on the Uber ride.
15 minutes. Oh my god.
His stink is so potent that you want to gag, and you can't wind down the window. It's like,
yeah, I would say I wouldn't point it out, but I would say, hey man, I need some fresh air. Can you blast the aircon or something? Or
let's say
can
the
you-
aircon's sorry. Let's say it's not hot in the car. Let's say the aircon's
Nah,
blasting.
I'm taking the window down. I'm getting rain to the face.
Yeah.
I say, hey man, you need to put this fucking window down.
What if he
I need some
says,
rain in
no,
the
don't
face."
do that. These are new upholstery, and he locks the window.
Just drop me off here, bro.
Yeah, true.
Just drop me off here.
What if-
Actually,
what
I'm
if you're
gonna
in a
stop in
hurry?
at my friend's. He lives just here. Just stop here. Order the next Uber. Next minute, he accepts the job again because he's the only one
What
in
if
the
you're
area.
in like a legit hurry though?
Shit.
Like you were like, I need to
You're
be
fucked.
here.
You can't do anything. You're just gonna have to cop the smell. You're
So you
just gonna have
just Panzer come fucking tiger.
breathe through your mouth, man. Breathe through the mouth. Do you get that? Then?
You got to change my voice.
Do you get that when you
Get what?
Do you get that when you smell something really bad? Like there's a really potent smell where you have to go into a public bathroom and it just reeks or it
Yeah.
stanks.
I hate public restrooms, man.
And then you're like, okay, just breathe through the mouth, not the nose. When I do that, I then think of like my mouth is not filtering any of this.
Yeah,
like I'm
dude.
just getting the whole stank gas
tongue's
straight in the
popping it.
lungs.
Yeah.
Like at least my nose is filtering some of it out, but I'm like, it's inside me.
Do you know what's the worst bathroom I've ever been in?
What?
The family, dude.
The family nightclub?
Like triple tier, double or triple tier. Every time I went in there, urinals were taken. I go into the stall. It had like a Subway 6-inch foot-long size shit. Yellow water, full of toilet paper, clogged to the top. I just think about the people who work in nightclubs, like big nightclubs where people take pills and do coke and get fucked up and shit themselves and vomit all over the walls.
Yep.
Imagine being the janitor. I'd be like, I want 200 an hour.
Yeah.
To clean this
at
shit.
least.
Because, dude, you'd be wrangling some serious turds.
Oh, dude.
Some
serious turds, yeah.
warlord class turds, bro.
You don't even come in with a brush. You come in with the fucking, what's the suction thing called
The
when you've got
fucking
clogged
plunger.
drain? Yeah, the plunger. Get it
Yeah.
down there, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been soaking up in the water for 3 hours. Surely.
Oh, can you imagine the reek?
Surely it's soft enough.
How's about a duty of all men? All men, it's our duty to piss skid marks off the bowl, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's ours or not, we take pride in it.
Yeah.
How gross is it though when you go to a toilet and there's like a thick skid mark on the toilet and you piss and you pull it off, but it releases a smell and you're like,
Oh, it's
I
someone
hate
else's
that.
poo smell. and
Yeah.
you're, oh, I've softened it.
Yeah. You say I've suffered it?
Softened.
Oh, right.
but suffered also.
I've suffered the
I've softened and
Dude.
I've opened it up and released the gas.
Do you know what's strange? I don't know if this will change in the future, like maybe 200 years from now, but like, how gross is it that we share toilets together? Like it's gross enough that you come home and your significant other or one of your family members is taking a shit and you're like, oh, fucking spray or leave the window open. Oh, but it's like a family member, so you accept that. But like, you got to go into a toilet. Some people might even put toilet paper in the toilet bowl to avoid getting some kind of fucking.
That's such a first world Western
It
thing
is
to be grossed out by, right?
It is, yeah.
Like back in the old days, imagine when there was no sewage.
Bro, do you know what
Like
the
you were
Romans
shitting
did?
in a city.
You know what the Romans used to do? These motherfuckers had sewage, right? They practically invented sewage systems. You would go to a public restroom, you would sit there on a toilet in like a cubicle and look across at people, shit in a hole. You'd walk over to the exit. A guy would have a bucket full of water and a sponge on a stick. He'd go, "Thukook, here you go." You would clean your ass with that and you put it back in the bucket and hand it to the next guy. That's how dude,
shit water on it.
everyone would have had itchy assholes. They would have had fucking gonorrhea or some
This
shit.
is back in the day when you had no idea about germs and sharing germs.
Right.
Dude,
Germs, when germs were finally discovered, changed everything.
Dude, this is what blows my fucking brain up. I wanted to bring this up. We'll bring this up. We've still got a little bit of time.
Cool.
So, like, the next discovery, right? This is my thing at the moment. Like, we're just moving towards the next big discovery where once it's uncovered, or once we go down to a deeper level of understanding, anything before that will seem primitive.
Totally.
Anything we think is cutting edge right now, in 100 years, people will laugh at us. They'll be like,
Totally.
what the fuck? They did that? Yuck. Or like, how stupid. Or like, really? Like, whatever reaction they will have, it will be something that goes, wow, they really didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And our perception will change completely. Like, our perception currently, we probably can't even imagine how people perceive the world, even 100 years ago. 100 years ago wasn't even that long. It's all documented. It's the Titanic, basically. 1920s. We're in 2023. 1920s, people were fancy. People had suits. People had cars, like early cars, very Titanic, hand on the window cars, that kind of shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And they thought that was cutting edge. Like that you were rich.
Yeah.
You were like, I've got this automobile, And that was it. And here we are. We're like, oh my God, I'm working with artificial intelligence. In 100 years, people were like, what the? Artificial intelligence? That's what they used to call it?
You guys still wipe your own asses? Yeah.
Now we just call it intelligence. It's part of my fucking Oculus Pro 10,000. I don't know.
It's true. It's true.
It'll be everything we do now will be so primitive. Like all this equipment, everything that we think is high-tech technology, people will just be like, what the fuck was that back then?
For real.
What the fuck was that?
Here's the thing though. When I think about, let's say, Roman times, that's one big leap of like, oh, you fuckers didn't know anything. But when you think about Industrial Revolution UK, like, hello, old, like Sherlock Holmes era, like, hello, like Jack the Ripper era, maybe like Elizabethan times, a bit after that. That's not so, Industrial Revolution. That's not so much. I don't judge them the way I would judge a medieval peasant.
But
I look at them.
It's
but so I'm hoping people in 1,000 years from now won't judge us the same as them, because they might judge the Industrial Revolution, but when they look at people, oh, I want to read about the COVID era of human history. These people weren't so different to us. They were pretty good with technology, but they still had things like cancers and depression and shit.
Yes.
They didn't have flying
But think
vehicles.
about it.
I don't think they will make as much fun of us as we would make fun of Romans who wipe their ass with sponges, but
They might, though.
They would definitely feel more superior than us. Well, dude, that's the conversation we had last time.
But it's
the leaps we've made in technology. I remember when I was in high school in 2009, in my last year of high school, the biggest thing in the world was a fucking iPod Shuffle.
Yeah.
Now we've got AI.
Let's go
ChatGPT.
back to the start of our high school days,
Right.
where we were just getting mobile phones. And we're
Laser flip phones.
like, this is so cool. I can send a little message to my friend of words who is elsewhere. I don't have to call his home phone anymore. I can send a message. And now we've got a piece of glass that just does anything. Plays us videos, turns into a keyboard. Beep, 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 beep. we type, we do anything. We FaceTime.
Corrects our grammar.
Piece of glass in our pocket, or where we just go, I need, what's that again? Let me just Google it.
Mm-hmm.
In our pocket, unlimited information, just connected to a network of information.
It's true.
And like back then, we wouldn't have even been able to predict that. Not even the people that are part of inventing and creating all this could have predicted that. Someone might have had a wild vision of something, but nobody would have gone, this is what it's going to be in the future. It's step by step. Someone invents something and they go, I could change that a little bit. People probably change it in 10 different ways, and one way takes off because the public masses like it. Or they go, oh, that's really cool.
It's true.
And
It's
useful.
true.
So people have invented all these things that never took off. Like, for instance, cars at the beginning. People invented electric cars, but the petrol cars were just far better, far superior in terms of range. They could go longer on you wouldn't have to stop and charge it. Where are you going to get the charge from? Electric cars existed when they first started inventing cars. But it wasn't there yet. And now we're going, well, now we've got the technology and infrastructure to do it. Now we're going back, being like, hey, what about these electric ones? And all these oil giants are like, yeah, but we're making good dough off this fuel business. So, hey, just pump the brakes a little bit. It's wild. So there's
EV
just
cars,
different
bro.
things.
EV cars, like, I get how cool EV cars are, but like the shit that people are saying, especially like there's that video of that boat full of EV cars being transported, and then like the waves are crashing, and then next minute the boat's on fire.
Really? Is that a thing? Is that a thing that happened?
Dude, EV cars, salt water. If salt water gets onto the EV cars, they catch on fire, bro.
No.
Yeah.
What brand?
I don't know any, I guess, but there's a video of like a you know those big container ships transporting all these EV cars, and it's like, and next minute it shows the view of like the captain's cockpit, well, I don't know, poop deck, whatever the fuck, and then it shows later views and the whole ship's on fire, like a big container transport ship.
Yeah,
I'm talking like, so dude.
I suppose if one thing combusts,
Yeah.
everything's flammable.
Yeah. I believe it's salt water in particular.
Right.
But there's a video recently that they were talking about a lot in the US Senate or Parliament, whatever. And they were saying, one person said, Senator, I live in Florida, and you guys you guys are almost talking about making EV cars mandatory in America, and that you might have a fine if you don't have it. Something along those lines. Don't quote me, all right? I'm completely wrong. But what the person said was like, I live in Florida.
I'm a leader of sangria down. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. But you live in Florida, dude, which has had all these tsunamis and typhoons. They probably had some gangster tycoons as well.
Yeah.
1 liter of alcohol. Give me a break. So, yeah, if you're living in a place that's constantly raining and constantly having like hurricanes and shit, and you've got an EV car and it's parked in your garage, and you're batting down the hatches, waiting for this
Scary.
tornado to go past. Next minute, the side of your house is on fire because your fucking EV car.
Probably the least of your worries if a tornado's going past. But
Bro, come on. If
EV
the tornado goes past and then your house lights on fire, you're going to be like out of the frying pan into the fucking oven.
it's not as common as we think, though. Like, it gets blown out of proportion, electric cars catching fire.
Well,
Because
it's something they need to get on top of because, like you
are.
mentioned,
I don't know
right?
about all brands, but you know Teslas. And yes, there's been cases where Teslas have caught fire. But Tesla have a thing in their batteries where as soon as it has a collision, for instance, because that's obviously a danger of the battery combusting, as soon as it has a collision, it releases, I don't know what fluid it is.
Like a foam?
It releases this fluid all through the battery. So it basically kills the battery and neutralizes it. So there's no way it can catch fire.
How much would the new battery be, you reckon? Because you buy a new battery
It costs
for
a
a
lot,
car,
but
it's
if your
like $100.
car's smashed, like who gives a fuck? We're just stopping you
if
from
you can
burning
afford
to
a
death.
Tesla, yeah.
They're not expensive at the moment.
What are they, a
I
mil?
was considering it.
No,
What?
no. What are they, like 300,000 or something?
No, you're thinking of like the top shit. I'm talking like Tesla Model 3. You can get it used here in Australia, which is
20, 30K?
a little bit more. 40 to 50
Oh,
for a
okay.
used Model 3.
Here's the thing. You mentioned earlier that people wanted one thing and then so they made something to accommodate people, right? Especially vehicles and shit. People said so, and that's
Well, not accommodate. I was talking about it will only succeed if the masses jump on board, and you can't control that. You're not saying, I'm going to make this for the masses.
That's
Because you could say that and go, look at my product. If nobody grabs it, it's not going to succeed.
okay. But if you created that product and people said we like it, but we prefer it in black, for example.
Oh, yeah. Then you got
You're
crowd
accommodating.
feedback. Boom. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So, in order for EV cars to ever get past the government and get into the minds of everyone else, not just as a flex, you got to get rid of those things because, like, fire, even
They're
statistics.
not
Look,
an issue. They're not an issue. That's
yeah.
why they're still taking off.
but
They
people
make
are
it an
dumb,
issue.
dude. Statistically, people are just gonna go, "What's an EV car like?" Ooh, they catch on fire. Nah, I'll just get a Hyundai.
Yeah, but those are the same people that can go drink their fucking detergent in their laundry. Those are
That's
idiots.
a high population of people, man.
Yeah, but
Earth is full of people like that.
It's gonna weed them out eventually. If it keeps just going at the trajectory that it does, people are gonna go, oh wait, maybe it's not as extreme. Maybe that TikTok I believed isn't that extreme. Like just
Do you
because
think-
someone, just
Do you
because
think there's
someone
more
crashed
people? Do you think there's more people with common sense on this planet than people without it?
on the planet,
On this whole
there's
planet?
probably a lot less without it. But we're talking about, we got to consider people that have grown up in a lot of different places, and what we call common sense might not even be something they would consider, like because they don't live in our world, in our first world country where we have all these privileges, and like they might not even think of that as common sense. They just
Mm.
go, oh, well, we don't have that in our country. So I mean, there's probably a lot more without what we consider common sense. Absolutely. But if you're saying someone's blowing up the fact that a guy put his Tesla on autopilot and crashed into a barricade and died, yeah, well, clearly it says don't put your car on autopilot and snooze. Like, you got to be paying attention. Just because that happened once, freak accident, how many freak accidents happen due to human error? Far more than due to Tesla computer error. It will save so many lives if everyone was in. And I'm not saying everyone should be in a Tesla, self-driving cars, because driving is fun. Driving can be fun and you want to do it yourself. But human error kills so many more people than a programmed computer error.
I can agree with that.
Full stop.
Statistics, right?
Statistic. That is it. That is
Statistic
fact.
probability, like.
That is fact.
Mm.
The issue is with EV cars, self-driving EV cars, it becomes a moral issue. Because if I market a car to you and I say, hey man, this car self-drives, it's going to avoid accidents, and you say to me, hey man, what if I'm in my Tesla, I'm driving along on an 80 road, driving 80. There's a group of 20 school kids walking on the side of the road, close together. They're in a group. A truck pulls out, doesn't see me at all. Truck pulls out in front of me. I've now got 50 meters to stop. Does my car choose to go under the tray of the truck and decapitate me and murder me? Or the only other way, there's a wall on the other side or whatever, the only other way is to swerve to the side and run into 15 kids.
It's going to run into the kids.
How do you program that? If you're the programmer of the car, what do? You
You
say,
want to program
kill
it
the owner.
for your own safety.
Kill the owner.
Really?
Absolutely. That's the morally higher ground, but then you can't market that car.
Exactly.
Because who's buying a car that's going
Because
to
it's
kill
a
you?
fucking death trap.
But if you're a person...
Bro, you're blowing my mind right now.
yeah,
how
if
intense
you're a
this is.
person with good morals,
Yeah.
and you're like, I would never want to run down 15 kids. I'd rather decapitate me. Then obviously you go, well, that is the saner choice of the two.
Do you think in the future, let's say 70 years from now,
It's not
Do
a
you think-
fixable issue.
do you think 70 years from now, we would have reached a point in human society where we can decide what kind of mother you want, selfless or
Yeah.
survival?
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
it might be a physical choice that you
gotta
have.
put this on Facey. Yeah.
Or do you say the only way to fix that issue, it's not fixable. The only way it's fixable is if every vehicle on the road was an EV with a network and they could talk to each other. So that truck that pulled in front of you never would have pulled in front of you because it knew you were there. So the
Mm.
future, if everyone said, hey, we're going to can all cars today and we're just going to replace them with EVs that talk to each other. Do you know how fucking sick the roads would be? You would
So
not need
smooth.
traffic lights. You would not need lanes.
Oh yeah.
Cars would just go, oh, that's your space. Blah, 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 blah. They
Yeah.
would just flow
Yeah.
because they would know exactly when you're going to be where, and you're going to be like, I'm going at 60 kilometers per hour. I'm going to cross this, and then you're going to cross right behind me.
Yeah. I can imagine too, either the motion sensor would be so strong that it could pick up 100 meters down the track that someone's walking at a certain pace, and whether they're sporadic or not, if they're drunk, if they're this or that.
And if all the cars are connected,
Yeah.
they also sense that person beside them, and they go, I need to slow down so that this guy can slow down, so that if this person stumbles, nobody's going to hit him.
Exactly. Or
Supercomputer.
they also might market that, just like phones, where we all agree that our privacy is basically non-existent with phones. Everyone wears a wrist bracelet, which is basically your phone, right? You press it, hologram comes up, check weather, check Facebook, whatever.
Well, it's getting there, isn't it? Everyone's
Yeah.
got the Apple Watch or the
but
Galaxy Watch.
That's also connected to the cars. So the cars have your heart rate, everything like that. You don't see that, but the cars can pick up, okay, I can see that this person's running this way, they're jogging. In history,
predictions.
Their jogging route is this.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting deep now.
We're getting deep.
Their jogging
We
route
know
is this.
that particular
so
person's jogging route.
it's possible they might walk this way.
But
We'll slow
bro.
down from, well,
What about my privacy?
exactly. This is what I'm saying. So in the future,
Fuck it, dude. Track what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Make me not get hit by a car. I don't give
Yeah.
a fuck.
yeah. Oh, it's exciting to think of that we're going to be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, did you ever see the movie Minority Report? Tom Cruise?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Remind me, though.
They just have tracks in the thing.
Oh,
goes
yes.
zoom, zoom, zoom. The cars are just flying, dude.
Is that where they can predict when a murder is happening?
Yeah. They've got,
that's
like,
the one. I've only
psychic
recently
people.
watched that. Like
Oh,
a couple
true.
months ago, yeah.
I love the
Great
part where he's
film.
like, he has to change his eyes to like get around. And
Yeah.
the guy's like,
Weird.
he's like, let me keep those. He's like, what do you want to keep? He's like, because my mother gave me these. It's like, gang,
Oh,
gang.
gang,
dog.
gang.
Yeah. You know what? Phil, that is absolutely fascinating. I never even conceived that in the future we wouldn't need stoplights or anything because everything's EV. That's true.
Well, it's not just EV. They have to talk to each other.
Yeah.
So we have to, because there's going to be so many different brands. So we're going to have to build. It's going to take a long time for the
Dude, it's gonna be-
everyone should every car should communicate on the same like communication network, and then that's going to build up.
We're going to be old men by the time this comes on. We'll be
But
in
it's
it.
going to come on
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. But we'll be knocking on death's door by sure.
for sure. Well, we're going to end it there, but
Yeah.
next time I've got some more on that because there's some brain-blowing
That was a
reality
mad
shit
chat.
that I've been looking into. Mad
Prost.
chat. Prost, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Thanks
This
for
is
listening.
the Von Liter Podcast.
Stay strong.